Prime Minister Kachagni's book in the libraries of the world. And finally I found one and then sort of reissued it, summarizing it in certain places and then as making my own assessments in some other places and so on. And they withhold a series of facts that weaken their slanted case. Foreign Christian missionaries, you remember the American historian who spoke in the film, and he said, well, the foreign missionaries brought certain good things. They opened up a few schools. They were, of course, missionary schools, but nevertheless, and then they brought some doctors, perhaps, and so on. But they also taught the minorities, the Christians, that just because they were Christians, they were superior to the others. They knew nothing about the church and the Muslims. Now, if I don't want to end this talk as soon as possible, but just because I remembered something here, let me find it and read it to you. Just only a few sentences. That's from a book written by an American Protestant missionary and an Armenian leader, a leader of the Armenian groups in New York. The book is called Bleeding Armenia, and I have given references to the particular page numbers there. And they say, the church is not a member of the best human race. Isn't that nice? The Indo-European or Aryan, like the Armenians. The church does not belong even to the next best of races. The Semitic, like the Jews and the Arabs, is a branch of the Mongolian race, and as such, incapable of assimilating complex ideas and higher forms of civilization. The mental inferiority of the Turk, unfortunately matched with the religion of a very low order, has made him what he is, worse than savages. There is much to say of the inferiority of Islam, but I shall confine myself, well, I should have said ourselves, because there are two authors on the cover of the book, very interesting. So, to showing that the moral law of Islam is essentially immoral. Well, let's pass to the last sentence. It's a long quotation. The Turk is a wild beast to be caged. I beg pardon of the hounds, hyenas, and all other wild beasts for using their names to describe the ferocity of a Kurd or a Turk. But such descriptions occurred even in the dictionaries that have to be as objective as possible. And I have the related pages here, photocopies from these dictionaries that include Webster, Oxford, American Heritage, Merriam, and so on and so forth. They say that, what is the meaning of a term? Definitions. Cruel, tyrannical, brutal, barbarous, fierce, savage, rigorous, despotic, troublesome, mischievous, and person of the priesthood. Now, this is called racism. Racism, pure and simple. You can sue them for that.
Insulting the pride of a nation.
Right, right. And these things appeared, I mean, these dictionaries, well, the oldest one appeared in 1937, and then 58, 73, 76, 1982, and 2001. Now, the book that I read the quotations from the book, that appeared in 1896 in Chicago. It's a thick book, and just 4 days before the 20th century, in other words. Now, well, not everybody is like that towards us. I've already referred to Konferansı, the first Prime Minister of independent Armenia, British functionaries, Captain C.B. Norman, no time to explain who they are, Doom Bremen, Sydney Whitman, William Langer in his book on imperialism, American, you heard Professor Stanford Shaw, and British historians Roderick Davison, Andrew Mango, Norman Stone, the first person who spoke, Russian officer General Mayevsky, there was a reference to General Mayevsky there, Lieutenant Colonel Tverdy Khalepov, Captain Ivan Vokilevich Platt, Dr. Horoshenov, American academics, Justin McCarthy, you also spoke for some length, Keith Laurie, he didn't appear there, Gunther Dewey, he didn't appear there either, some from the legal professions, Samuel Weems, also an American, and Armenians of first-hand knowledge, such as Louis Nalbantian, there was a reference to her doctoral dissertation in which she describes the Dashnaks and the Twinchaks as terrorists, using the name, the qualification. And then K.S. Papazian, who wrote a book called Patriotism Perverted, and I reissued that with my own evaluations. I have a copy of the cover of the book here. I have no time to show it to you right now, and so on and so forth. Now, yeah. Right, okay. Now, I have something, I've eliminated it, lots of pages. All right, let's not lose time because of our own dialogue. Now, let us see, what does the Armenian issue signify for Australia? First of all, let us never forget it, remind it to your other Australian friends, that it is a topic within the discipline of history writing. Politicians cannot come and lecture us or anyone else, especially with the tone of a public prosecutor, especially knowing absolutely nothing about the issue, especially with no publications of their own and their expertise emanating only from themselves. It's outside the competence of Madam Bishop, Mr. Hatcher, and the like. Secondly, where should Australia stand vis-à-vis this issue? Now, I shall venture to offer my personal opinion, albeit hopefully based on objective realities of contemporary times. And what I'm going to say after that is not known to anyone of the text here, including officials and also my good friend who brought me here from Canberra.